Look at this. I was in a match. Look at where this IS-7 hit me. We were playing close range. He had time to aim, but this is where he was looking at. He was looking at this little spot on my tank. And he was like, yeah, let me shoot there. And somehow hit it. So this is the shot that he hit. He shot through my gun and hit the little pixel here. And then he did it again. He did it again. What a funny guy. Bunch of garbage. And then look at this shot. What? It wasn't even a cupola shot. He just hit me straight in the turret and penetrated. He hit it. What the? What is with this stupid tank? Seriously, this tank is so garbage. This tank is absolute trash. It can't even block this shot. How does that not block? And also, how is this even a thing? Why is this a thing exactly? Wargaming. What is the purpose of this? So that people can get annoyed when they're trying to play their actual tank how it's meant to be played, which is hold down. You're trying to play the tank hold down, and then you play the tank hold down, and then you're getting shot from retards like this. He shot me there twice. I was playing hold down just in front of them, sitting there. I knew because I knew they couldn't penetrate me because I was hiding my cupola and my lower plate, and this is all they could see, and this is all they can hit. They can hit maybe here, but then they're aiming here, and he hit it twice. Oops, I'm not showing my screen anymore. But well, yeah, I was showing my screen. Actually, I was showing my screen, but yeah, they hit it twice in that same position. I was showing my screen, so it's okay. I thought I wasn't because I clicked Alt, and that showed it immediately. That removed it immediately, but I still am showing my screen. I was showing my screen, I mean. The main problem with this tank is the specific power. This tank's meant to go in, but the problem is you can't actually go in because the specific power is horrendous. It's 15. It was 15 before without a turbocharger, and this is with full, insanely high specific power equipment. I increased the engine power by 10% from this, which cost a lot actually to implement because this tank already isn't earning you credits. And then I put a turbocharger, which has the highest engine power you can actually get. And then I even have the cruise skill that gives you off-road driving. That increases your terrain resistances, makes them better. I don't have this yet, so I can increase the top speed by a little bit more from that. And I don't have the field modification to increase the top speed by 4, but that's it. That's all I don't have. I also don't have Bond turbocharger, but also that's it. I mean, I could definitely get Bond turbocharger, but I mean, I think I can get this tank to a bit faster than this. Let me see. So that's with Bond turbocharger, then with this. And it actually gets more engine power as you go up, so that's good. So it actually has 18.6 engine power now, and then let's get engineer, which makes it go even faster. So this is the fastest it can get. It's 47.27. That's the fastest it can go. I think you can actually put ventilation on this to make it even faster, but not much. Yeah, 47.36. That's not much. It's not worth it. You can have 17 reverse speed. 18.6 specific power, which isn't that far off from what I already have. With a bounty turbocharger. Without the field modifications. It's 18.16. And I could even get this all-terrain suspension to make it a bit faster. I guess so. It would make it a little bit faster to getting up to speed. Oh, actually, this isn't the highest engine power you can get, so Bond actually does give you a bit more engine power. So 18.6. It's the highest specific power you can get on this tank, and also 47 is the highest top speed you can get. But the problem with this tank is not only that, yeah, you can get this and you can make it decently quick, but then the main problem is actually the gun handling and also the armor. The armor sucks. Close range, the armor sucks. And not only that, it's very difficult to side scrape. Side scraping basically doesn't work on this tank. And the lower plate is horrendous. It's not even that strong. The lower plate should have been the same as the other armor. And that's the reason the IS-7 is actually good, but you see this lower plate's horrendous. The IS-7 has a lower plate of 150. This tank has 110. 110. That's 40 millimeters of difference. If this tank would have had a lower plate of 230, then it might actually be good. But no, since it has a lower plate of 110, this tank is absolutely useless. Playing from far range doesn't really work. Playing close range doesn't really work either, because once you get close to an enemy, you can completely get shot here, straight here, and then you're penetrated easily. And then, as you saw before in that game, there's this little sliver that people want to try to shoot, of course. And then there's also a cupola that people want to just randomly try to shoot at because it's there, even though it's not even a good choice to do, because it's usually a ricochet for standard rounds. And then for heat rounds, yeah, you can go through. You can get a penetration on it. But it's so small. I mean, look at the cupola. It's very small. You should not be trying to shoot that cupola. Yet people try to anyways. And as I said, it was side scraping. You cannot side scrape in this tank. This is what side scraping looks like for this tank. So, yeah. It's not good. This is not good. Especially with the gun handling of this tank, you cannot actually do it quick. So you side scrape out, you have to aim in for 20 seconds so the enemies can look at your tank and simply shoot exactly where it needs to be shot at. Or if you side scrape a little bit better like this, or somewhat better, like to make your... You can't even make... Like, look how weak this part is. It should have been more than this. It should have been 250. This should be 250, not 230. It's 250. This is horrendous. You can't even side scrape like this reliably. Like, this is so little. I'm barely even changing the angle at all. It's so terrible. I mean, look at this. Look at this garbage. This is versus 330 heat rounds. And it gets better. This is not even that strong. It gets better than this. People have better penetration than this. Let's look at the IS-7, for example. This is 310 APCR. And look, it could do the exact same thing. The E100 has 334 heat. Goes straight through that. The mouse has 311. Goes straight through this. If you angle a little bit more, it's nothing. And also that's ignoring the lower plate. The lower plate's just disgusting. I mean, look at this. Look at this lower plate. So yeah, if you try to make the side of this tank strong, the front side, the front, the upper plate on the right, if you try to make this one strong, or on the left actually, if you try to make it on the left strong, if the upper plate on the left, if you try to make that strong, then you're making the lower plate extremely weak. And that's the huge problem with this tank, is that you cannot side scrape. You can not even reverse side scrape. I've already looked at that. You cannot reverse side scrape. This is what reverse side scraping looks like. You get penetrated straight in the rear, so you can't reverse side scrape. And then when you try to go forwards to someone, like I told you before, this tank actually gets weak. Doesn't look that weak, but once you load premium ammo, it's weak. You shoot it straight here, it's weak. You try to wiggle, it's weak. If people try to shoot in the lower plate, they might have a chance to ricochet, but otherwise, shoot it literally here and it goes straight through. And like I said, this tank isn't fast. It also has a gun mechanic where you can't actually hit for the full damage. Once you get further away, when you're further away from a target, you hit for less damage. You have to be closer. When you try to get close to someone, it is terrible. Even though that's the whole purpose of this tank. Because you cannot side scrape. The only thing you can really do in this tank is get close to someone. And then they ruined it. They ruined it completely by making this tank actually weak by getting close to someone. It's weak when it gets close to someone. It's weak when it tries to side scrape. It's weak when it stays far away. They ruined this tank. I thought this tank was actually good, but they completely ruined it. The gun is horrendous, so if you try to play far away, you're basically missing every shot. You can definitely play this tank with gun equipment, gun handling equipment, and it'll actually work with you a little bit. But it's doing less damage, and also, it's not great either. It's not great even then. Even then, it's horrendous. The gun is terrible. 2.5 seconds aiming time, 0.37 dispersion 100 meters, and the dispersion factors are on the BZT 70s level. And that doesn't even include the difficulties in actually peeking on an enemy and getting a shot in while being safe. Because there's countless tank destroyers, there's countless people playing where they shouldn't be, like grills and all these other retards that completely ruin this tank. And so the only choice you have for this tank is to get into a position, play hold down, and hope your enemies push you. Because otherwise, you cannot make anything happen. This tank is a pile of trash. They ruined this. This tank could have been so good. Imagine if the lower plate was 230 instead of 110. Imagine how strong it would be. The lower plate would basically be invincible. The only part you would actually be able to actually shoot is this, which is much better than having this part constantly being green, because then you could actually maybe side scrape. If the lower plate was actually invincible, then you could actually somewhat use this armor. But since the lower plate is so garbage, every time you peek out, people are shooting you in the lower plate, even if you're angled. Look at this. Even if you angle, like this is a decently steep angle, yet it's easily penetrable. 110 is nothing. And only when it becomes an auto ricochet is when it actually is reliable. And you can rely on it to block a shot. So only when it's an auto ricochet. That is horrendous. This tank is a pile of trash. They completely ruined it.